Hi guys, thanks for tuning into the channel today. A little bit late in the afternoon, it's around about 5 o'clock. I'm out in the Classic 350 Reborn. I'm testing the rear shocks, and it is a pleasant, well, I wouldn't say pleasant, but it's a 28-degree day. So people around here, they're not used to the hot weather, so we're just coming into, we're really in spring, heading towards summer, and probably today's our warmest day. When I just checked earlier on, 28°C. So I'm going to head out along the road, check out these shocks, then I'll give you a bit of a insight into it when we get out there. So apart from that, we'll see how things go. So it's a long weekend this weekend in Australia. It's a Monday, and naturally I'd expect there'd be a few people on the road, and where I'm going to, or the road I'm going to head out on, there's about 3 spots out there where they hit up the mobile speed cameras. There's a very good chance they'll be sitting out there too, so it's not a weekend you'd want to get out there doing anything silly, because they're sneaky people, and they sit down in some of the gullies, and you know, you're doing the wrong thing and speeding, you come over. Well, naturally it's going to be expensive, and it's going to be double demerits and double fines. So, you know, you get bonuses here in Australia on a long weekend where they double up everything. The only thing is, you know, they have double the fun. So that's what we're working on. And again, it's a bit of a windy day, and I'm also checking out how this microphone performs. So it'll be blowing around a bit. It's a corded one, so it's not as if it's cordless, so it's just hard to say how that side of it'll go. Really coming into a fairly strong headwind now too, so that would be a bit on the negative side. I've set the camera up off the handlebars so that hopefully we can see the speedo, and I've got near a full tank of gas, so when I'm going to go out is roughly around about maybe 30 k's out, something like that, and that should be good enough. It almost looks like it's going to rain too, because there's a few dark clouds around, and apart from the camera gear I'm running, I've forgotten the still camera, so I won't be using that today. But I may be able to salvage a bit of stuff. It's too late to go back and get it now, because it'll put me behind too far, so might as well just keep going. But once again, a beautiful day in Australia to be out here riding around. You might notice this car up here on the left hand side. I don't know, it was been abandoned, sitting there now for the best part of a week. Could be a stolen one, because the coppers have been there and run tape around it. And I think the next thing you'll find there, that late one night somebody will come along and burn that one out. So if they don't move it shortly, that's probably what's going to happen, a burnout, I'd reckon. So that bit aside, all is good there. Classic 350 Reborn seems to be running pretty well, so that's a plus. Well, I shouldn't say that's a plus, it's always running well anyway, so it makes no difference. Because of the wind condition today, I'm using like a belt open face type helmet with a bubble visor on it, so I don't know how that'll go too with the microphone. So this might be a salvageable clip, or it might be no good at all. You wouldn't really know until I get back, see what it's like, and go from there. But apart from that, all appears pretty good in that line. And up ahead there, you know, nice clouds. Certainly looks like it could rain, so you never know what's going to happen there. Maybe I left this little bit of a run. I should have been out another, I think, half hour earlier, so I was a little bit late on this one. So I thought 5 o'clock a bit of one. Up ahead there, it almost looks like it's raining, you know, so just hard to say what's going to happen. First time I went out for a while now with a container of water, a flask of water with me, because you can feel a little bit of bite in that sun when it comes out from under the clouds. Like now we're heading into virtually full sun. I just take my time along here because the lights are red. We've only got one set of traffic lights, so it's a hit and miss thing here, whether you score it at all or not as far as the traffic lights go. But lucky, see, slowed down there, now managed to grab a green. And you'll notice a build up of traffic on the other side. Usually you come past and there's not a huge amount of traffic on the other side, but I think they're all heading back because this is the bypass to bypass the city of where I live, and these ones here probably just heading back to the big smoke or Sydney, and this is the best way to get out of it without being caught up for an extra 15 minutes running through town. So I just hope I have a clear run out along the road. There's no idiots out there riding around. But yeah, it certainly looks like it could rain, that's for sure. What can I tell you today? I suppose I could tell you, if you're in the market for a classic 350 or any Enfield, don't go past these 350s because they are a nice little bike to ride. And you know, if you're new to the channel, this is actually my favourite bike. If you're not new to the channel, well, you know I really like this bike anyway. So it's a bike I've had now for 18 or 20 months now. It's virtually been trouble-free, apart from a speedo error and replacement right in the early days. And I think I've popped up now roughly about 10,500 k's. So overall, not bad. A sort of special day for me today. I'm even wearing my Royal Enfield leather jacket. You know, usually I just wear any battle jacket, but today I've got the other one on, just so they know that when they come up behind me, that you know they're coming up to either overtake if they're in cars. You know, quality. That's the best way I'd put it. Look at that. Nobody at this roundabout today, so I've got it all to myself, and we are ready to get out here and flog this road. Like I said back there in town, if you're going to find anywhere where you're going to bump into stationary speed cameras, this will be the road. So this is the one they prey on for unsuspecting tourists here in the area, and this is the one that'll cost you some money if you don't stick to the limit in most cases. But you know, hard to say what's going to happen there today because it's you know, like I said, probably about, I don't know, 5:15, something like that. They might have had that big of a day out here booking people that, or catching them for speeding, that they left and went home early. Hard to say. But either way, I'll tell you where the parts are as we go along here that you're liable to run into them, and we'll go from there. Actually bought a new drone the other day. Bought the tortoise on the road, or turtle I should say. Only it's in a bad spot. I would have went back and picked it up, but you know, it's a bit risky road to be out here picking up turtles with the risk of getting done in by someone coming over the hill and wiping you out. So that bit aside, not much you can do but ride on. I can sort of feel that little bit of a headwind into the Chariot too, but look at it, I can accelerate up, run her up to 100, virtually pretty close to 100 now. But today's not a day I want to be riding close on the speed limit side, because I know problems are up ahead if they're out. There's their sign there, mobile speed cameras in action. Whether or not they're here, we'll soon find out. I've noticed lately quite a few rabbits back around in this area too, which is a bit out of the normal. So they got a nice little sign there on the right hand side. ducklings crossing. So often when you're riding around here, you'll see a old female duck trot off a road and she'll have half a dozen kids on her, or tailing behind her. So that's one thing that can happen out here. But yeah, like I said, I bought a new drone now, so I'll be trying that out in future content. And I bought the new DJI Mini 4 or Mini Pro 4. So I'll be able to see what that's like. Usually if you're going to see anyone here, the first place they were running stationary mode radar the other day was just over this hill in this gully, but good thing he's not here, so that's part one, just over here, over to my right there. He just sits in that section just there. Sometimes if they're working them around here, you'll get cars coming the other way and, you know, the flash of their lights to indicate that there's one up ahead. But as a rule, I'm rarely speeding, so it doesn't affect me that much. Now, another thing worth talking about, a couple of clips back I mentioned that I'd fitted these eBay gold type shocks to the rear of this Classic 350, and I was going to tell you what it was like. Now, I think roughly I had half a dozen people that wanted to know where they could buy them from and go from there. So that was the idea. There would have been about half a dozen that asked where they could get them, but I just replied to most of them. You know, I didn't want anyone whinging later on if they didn't come up to scratch and they forked out $100 and I give them bad advice. Now, most likely if this was some other channel, what I'm about to tell you now would be, well, it probably wouldn't happen and I wouldn't answer. But I ran those shocks for 200 kilometres, tested them, played with the settings, and you know, got a valuation on them that way. Now, my overall impression after 200 kilometres is they're not worth buying. Simple as that, they're no good. So if you were one of those ones that inquired about the shocks, and I did say to you, I'll let you know what it's like, and you might have been happy or unhappy that the way I handled it. The fact is, I've saved you $100 and just take it or leave it, but the fact is I've saved you 100. They're no good. And how do I know that? Well, when I rode them 200 kilometres, played with the settings 2 or 3 times on different preloads and stuff like that, and then today I decided to come back out here on the same road and I've switched back to the 500 shocks I've got on now. Now, believe it or not, these shocks are far superior. They are just way better shocks, and they're not classed as good shocks anyway, but they're way better than the other junk for $100. So my thoughts at the moment would be, if you're after a set of shocks, I was first to use this idea, I don't know, maybe 20 months back, when I had a spare set of Classic 500 shocks hanging around, rear shocks, and decided I'd put them on this one. Now, to do that I had to slight mod to it. I had to remove, I don't know, the eyelet in the shock and swap them over. I think it was 8 mils on this one and they were 10s on the other. So you just swap them over, not a hard job. The bush, you could say, you know, where the bolt goes through. So that was all done, and like I said, I'm on this today, and I can tell now over the same area I rode yesterday and the day before and a couple of other days with those other shocks that this one is a better ride. By no means not perfect, but just a better ride than those ones that I thought, which looked alright, that failed to live up to expectations. So on my left here now, that's where the other radar guy usually sits there too. So looks like he's not here today too, so they must, I don't know, they might knock off early and go home, so it's pretty quiet that way. I would have thought it'd be a good place to be hitting around here this time of the day, because they are coming back from their holiday at the dam. But overall, I was fairly well shaken around on those other gold shocks that I bought off eBay, but back on these ones here with the 500, you know, you can feel yourself go over it, but you're not getting slammed down the spine from it. So, you know, it's run over them pretty good at 85, 90 k's. So that's about all I can tell you on that line, and when we get out to this spot where I'm going to pull up, I'll pull the camera off and then we can just have a look at the Classic 500 shocks on. I always thought these were, you know, not bad shocks for the price, because you could probably pick up a pair second hand for, I don't know, $70 or $80, and even though they weren't much good on a 500, for some reason they're a lot better on the 350, and I don't know why, but they just seem to work pretty good on it. Been lots of kangaroos out in this area lately too. I've seen quite a few dead ones along here, so once again, not the sort of place you'd get out here and ride along late at night, or close to the dark I should say. You don't have to wait till night time, they're out any time, or any time late. This place we're coming up to now is Mullion Creek, and it used to be 80 km/h speed limit through here, but it's now 60, and they dropped that down. As a rule too, I rarely see coppers or highway patrol on this car, on this particular road, but they do come out here every now and again, and you know, usually it's a free run. It's either just, strange as it sounds, speed cameras in 3 or 4 different spots, or the odd highway patrol, but you know, like pretty quiet. I would be about, the main reason why this road gets a bit of a hit is the main source to what they call Muckrawar, or over at the Burrendong Dam. So if you want to go to either one, this is the road you go out on. So it's about a 60k out and then a turn off to go to Muckrawar, and I don't know, probably about 80 kilometres if you want to go right up the Burrendong Dam to where the wall is. But back to this thing now, the Classic 350 Reborn. It's a really sweet bike to ride, and I said earlier, you know, if you're after one, you'd be fairly happy with it. I never worry much what it gets to the gallon or litre, but I think to a tank full, it's pretty good usually for 300 kilometres. Top speed, I don't think I've ever flattened this one in, and it's done 10,500 k. I've had up to 110 k shot on the speedo a couple of times, but I've never went, you know, outright full throttle on it. I don't think I'd have that much more, but you know, more importantly, if it can run along at 80, 90, 100 kilometres an hour when I want it to, you know, that's good enough, because I only bought it really for the classic look. I wasn't really concerned much about the performance side. But you know, it sort of runs along well enough for me, and I've got other rides there, so it's not 100%, you know, like this bike or nothing. So once again, we're on a 90k cruise along here. I wasn't expecting to see, you know, like all of a sudden it go into shadows like it has, because I think on my way back I'll have to take the visor off and swing back the sunglasses so I can see better what's coming along here, because it looks like it's going to get a little bit darker quicker than I thought. Old crow on the side of the road. But there's no risk. Those 500 shocks are far superior than the ones I had there trialling it, because even when I hit a few of these rougher sections that I'm riding along, I'm not getting panel beaded in the spine. So, you know, that bit aside, I'm pretty happy overall with the results of those. Any other are just not worth buying. Got a car on my tail, so I might increase the speed. So here we are running along at 100 k's, virtually no drama. Apart from blowing into the headwind and knocking me around a bit, but I was thinking too that maybe I could take this Classic 350 out. Hear that wind strong now. No wonder I'm getting sort of blowing around a bit. I might be able to go out and do a bit of a runner commentary on is a dead kangaroo on the road up ahead. Oh, wallaby, I'd say. There, got the car sitting right on my tail. Yeah, I might take this Classic out and do running ride commentary. See what you reckon. If you like the idea, leave a comment. That'd be the best. Just trying to find out what that car's doing behind me. Sometimes I'll come right up to you and tail you for quite a while. And then the other time you'll know that they'll scare the crap out of you when they just come up real quick and pass you at a bit of speed. Another dead kangaroo there. Smells a bit too when you're riding along and don't see the kangaroo, but pick up the smell that goes with it. I'll slow down when I get up on this straight up here, and this car behind me hopefully will get past, because I want to turn off shortly up ahead to the left, and I don't want him right on my tail when I do that move. But apart from that, all's good. I've only got the one car behind me, so I'll just slow it down between 80 and 90, and then when he gets past, I'll swing it up to 100 and put a bit of pace along it, so that I've got no one else sitting on me bum. I find if you're going out along here and you're sitting on a little bit under what the clock speed is, you know, after a while I'll just get sick of it and head off. If not, I've got to ride down the road a few more kilometres than what I want to until they pass me and I can turn around, because they're not expecting me to stop in the middle of nowhere. And it looks like they're not going to pass anyway. That's a bit of a bummer. I'll just have to slow them right down. It looks like take the risk up here and go off the track. When I'm out along these roads and I've got somebody tailing me and it looks like I've got no choice to come off, I always like to give them a good 200 metres, indicating that I'm going off the side of the road. Then I can look back into the mirrors and just see if they're taking notice or if they're tailing me, and then I have to work out which way I'm going to go after that. But I'm ready to... You can't out-accelerate the car and then try to get up and then go hard on the brakes, so I'll be coming into just up around this next bend. I'll be going off the road, so I'll put my indicators on now, and that means hopefully they'll slow down a bit. It's always good to look into the mirrors. And we're going to go off here. So, there we are. Got out of that easy. You know, no drama anyway. Just pull up here. Turn the camera off.